Hey guys, David Irwin from David Irwin Design here, and in today's video, it's the first of the year, 1st of January 2019, so we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and goals and things that I want to accomplish over the next 12 months. It's a fairly big list, much bigger than last year, and I failed last year's, so this is something that I'm going to have to actually plan and set out. Last year, when the year ticked over, I was living in a tiny apartment, didn't really kind of working every day, didn't really have anything in mind for what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to set up a business. I knew I wanted to get better at running, which seems like the kind of thing that you wouldn't actually normally care about, but like I wanted to be able to run consistently for 30 minutes was the goal. And I also wanted to run 365 miles in a year. Now, I never reached the 365 miles in a year, but I can continuously run without stopping for an hour. So you win some, you lose some. Didn't quite make 365, but I did make the more important goal in my mind, where I got fitter. It's kind of fallen by the wayside over the last 2 weeks of Christmas break, where I've been stuffing my face with all kinds of food and puddings and various other things. Today I just wanted to talk about the goals that I have for 2019 and some of the things that I'm going to do with both this channel and just generally with David Irwin Design and just myself over the next year. So the first thing, the 365 mile rule again, or goal again. I want to try that again. I want to try and reach 365 miles in 1 year. And you can see Crash has joined us. God, he's such a lazy dog. So I want to try and reach 365 miles in 1 year. So that's going to start today. I'm going to run 10K. I'm going to be posting my results and adding them up on Twitter. You can follow me at _Dave Irwin. So that'll be one thing. I've also registered for the Toronto Marathon. I'm going to look into trying to do the New York City Marathon because it's something that I have always wanted to do. Last year, it's weird to say, last year I got to run around Central Park, which was something that I've wanted to do since I was a tiny little nipper. So I got to do the circuit of Central Park and it was great. So I would love to do the New York City Marathon. I've always either wanted to do that or London. Second thing is to network more, both with people on YouTube and design for the business, but also just in general. I don't see my friends enough. I'm not great at maintaining friendships. So I'm good at making friends, I guess, not great at maintaining them. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into. The third thing is YouTube content, blog content. I'm going to try and keep pumping it out. Undoubtedly I will burn it throughout the year, but I don't have an actual goal for content other than keep pumping it out. Sometimes it'll be the 60-second Sunday. I'm thinking about making that a bi-weekly thing. Is bi-weekly when something occurs twice in a week or every 2 weeks? I couldn't remember that. Anyway, bi-weekly, the 60-second tutorials, the tuts, are going to be coming out every 2 weeks. I'm also going to continue, or at least start, the podcast that I recorded. I did a test recording just before Christmas. It's going to be called Date by Design, and it's just a weekly graphic design news thing that I've either read on Twitter or come across over the last week, and I'm going to be recording that and posting it hopefully once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. Depends on whether or not I can actually get in and edit it. So that's the third content. So there's YouTube, there's the podcasts, There is the blog posts, obviously, which will go along with YouTube. And I also have a third or fourth, I should say, thing that I'm thinking about doing, which I will get to as a next goal. Fourth is to read more books. And to that end, what I mean by read more books is like, last year I didn't really read books. I listened to a lot of books, but I didn't read books. So I think that is something that I'm missing. I tend to read a lot, and in 2017 I read so much that I just couldn't. I couldn't take it all in. I couldn't remember everything that I'd read. I think it was like 122 books at that stage, which is just too many. So I'm going to start with finishing the 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. I've also got to reread my raster systems. Here we go. I'm going to be reading more. That means finishing this at least an hour a day, probably before bed. So this is going to be the first one that I finish, and I will I'll write a blog post or do a YouTube video about each one of them when I get to finish them. So along with that, I'm going to, speaking of like just books, I'm going to be writing more, and this will go into the content. So I want to do, and this is a longer form, shorter goal. It's a longer goal, but it doesn't have as many steps. I want to write 12 speculative fiction stories. This is something that I haven't done in a long time. I wrote one story over the last year and I really enjoyed it. So I want to write a little bit more, write a little bit more speculative fiction, and with that content I'm going to actually post it on YouTube as a spoken word kind of story you can listen to before you go to bed. Sometimes it won't be something that will be continuous. They're going to be different stories. I'll see if I can submit them to magazines, but that's not part of the goal. It's just to try and get 12 speculative fiction stories out, and that'll be something that I'll do on an ongoing basis once a month. Sit down for a Saturday, go to a coffee shop, start writing, that kind of thing. So the next one is education. I am sort of obsessed with continuous learning. It's something that I do a lot of, but over the last, say, 4 months, I've started 4 courses and not really finished them. Not that I've gotten bored, it's just that I'm a proponent of something called just-in-time learning, which is when you need to know something, you should go out and learn it at that time. Learn it at that moment, just in time learning. And along with that, I've been kind of hodgepodging and jumping around to try and learn the things that I need to edit these videos, but also learn some podcasting, editing, learn other things like that. I want to finish those courses. They're on lynda.com. There's a couple on Udemy as well, just for programming and Salesforce, which is part of my day job, which I will speak about more of as the year goes by. So I'm going to learn as much as I can, and that will go along with the reading. And then finally, I've got a weekly project. And this is a lot, I know. I know this is a lot. It seems like the kind of thing that you do at the start of the year and then you don't continue. But I have a 52-week project, and I actually stole this idea from, I think it's Kaylee. I'll put the name of the YouTube channel here. She does a 52-week project for photography. And photography is something that I'm very interested in, but it's not really design related. I got into it because I wanted to know more about light and lighting. So, and to help with these videos. So I spoke to my friend Hugh and I asked him if he wanted to do a 52-week project, which would be 52 photo shoots that we could do together. I think maybe 52 is too much, so there'll be editing and photos. So not just shoots, different kinds of things. So to that end, I will be going out this Saturday and doing some street photography. First week, street photography. And I don't have an amazing camera. It's a Rebel T3 that I bought in 2010. But you know what they say, it's not the camera, it's the photographer, and there's only one way to learn. It's by going out and shooting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one day of the week and plan 4 weeks of shoots at the start of a month. I'm going to put them in a calendar, and I will then go and do those shoots. So I think that's it, the 52-week project. So they're my goals. I'm going to, 365 miles in a year, run that. Also the marathons if I can get in. 2, network more. Try and do meetup groups, see my friends more, do podcasts with people, things like that. 3, content, and that'll include this type of stuff. 4, read more books. I don't have a specific goal in mind. I'll link my GoodReads down in the doobly-doo. You can follow my progress there. And 5, write more. I'm going to do 12 spec works over the next 12 months, 1 a month, and I will make a video where I do a spoken word, this is the story, blah, blah, blah. 6, education, because it's super important. I'm going to finish the the lynda.com courses that I'm doing. That'll be saved to my LinkedIn and you can look at them there. I'll also post that in the doobly-doo. And the 52-week project. It's also why I have these giant black backgrounds. Actually, these are blocks for light. I did a photo shoot last year, and they come in handy because I've got a huge mess behind that one, so I didn't want to put that in the video, and that works. That's it. That's the video. If you have any ideas for the 52-week project, either shoots or something like that, please let me know, and we will see you in the next video. Both me and my snoring dog Crash. Cheers, guys. Happy New Year, and I hope 2019 is as good to you as it is to me. Cheers. The third thing. Oh, how could I forget?